So turns out there were two Invasion from Below polybags that LEGO released back in 2014. I'd never seen these until very recently. And having spoken to a few people about these polybags, it seems that a bunch of people had no idea these were even sets. So what's the story behind these? Where could you get them? What are they worth? Are these rare? Well, let's discuss all of that in today's episode. And of course, let's see how you can use the pieces that come in these sets to build your own incredible creations. Let's dive in. So this is set 40116. It's simply titled Invasion from Below Polybag. Doesn't even get a cool name like, I don't know, Breeze's Badass Machine, or something like that. And then this is set 40117, which is titled Villain's Mini Model Polybag, which I guess is like a slightly better name. Slightly. Now, it seems that both of these polybags had a very limited release. It seems. The Hero Factory wiki states that Breeze's mech set was released at the very start of 2014, and it was released everywhere. It then specifies that the set was available through Toys R Us's website within the United Kingdom. So, okay, it claims it was available everywhere, but I never saw this set for sale in Australia whatsoever. In fact, in 2014, it was incredibly rare to see any polybags for sale in Australia. So I decided to ask a bunch of my American friends if they ever saw this for sale in the US, and most of the responses I got back were saying that they'd never even seen this set before, or yeah, they never saw it in shops, ever. I do have friends in Europe though who claimed that they'd seen these for sale in stores all over the place. I have a mate of mine who says that they saw it for sale in Montenegro, and I also heard that it was indeed for sale in Toys R Us's in-stores in the UK, not just online like we'd heard before. I was also told by someone that this Villain polybag set was available in Billund, Denmark. So by the sounds of it, it seems like these might have been Europe-exclusive sets, and they were not available everywhere, despite what the wiki said. But hey, you know, often I find whenever I do these kinds of rare set videos, people will comment in the comments below saying, oh no, yeah, I saw this for sale in one of my local stores over in the US or in this part of the world. So if that's the case, please let me know. I would love to hear stories of this being sold outside of Europe. But from what I've seen so far, that doesn't seem like it's the case. So yeah, given the limited availability of this around the world, this must be rare and expensive, right? Well, they aren't exactly rare sets, at least out of the packaging. None of these two sets come with any exclusive pieces at all. In fact, I just made these using parts in my own collection. But yeah, if you have these sealed in their original polybag, they can be worth a little bit more. On Bricklink right now, this set has 5 listings for sale. One of them is used, so it comes with the instructions and it's outside of the polybag, built. They want 20 Aussie dollars for this one, which is about 12 US dollars. The other listings are all new, sealed in packaging, and they're asking pretty similar prices. Roughly about 15 to 20 bucks. I think it's fair to ignore that last listing that wants 114 Australian dollars. That person's just asking way too much money. It's simply not worth that price. However, the Villain polybag is a bit of a different story. There are currently none for sale right now on Bricklink, but one of them did sell within the last 6 months. One of them sold in January this year for 147 Australian dollars. That's crazy. In US dollars, that comes to about 93 bucks. So yeah, I imagine that was probably sealed within the polybag, which would make it a lot more rare. So there you go, if you have this thing sealed in the bag, it is worth a fair bit. Or at least it can be. This is one example of one having sold. The price can certainly vary. So okay, we got a bit of an idea of how rare these are and how much they're worth. But are these two sets any good? Well, let's check them out. Breeze's mech is kind of delightful. It's super basic, it lacks any knee or elbow articulation, but it's still fairly posable and fun to play with. And look, for a small and cheap polybag build, it accomplishes what it sets out to accomplish. It's a cute little mech for Breeze to ride inside of, and it uses minimal parts to do so. It works. Yeah, it's by no means the greatest set of all time, but I like it. And hey, anytime we get any more of these minifigure scale hero characters, it's a good time. I love how they look. One thing that I do think is fascinating is the back design. See this gunmetal armor piece right here? The top of it perfectly lines up with the bottom of that CCBS armor shell. And then that orange armor shell, it neatly transitions into the orange cockpit area. It's amazing how effectively these pieces line up with one another. The shaping that's going on here in this area is just so oddly impressive and really satisfying. No gaps whatsoever. And when you take this apart, you can see that the construction of this isn't anything special. You're really just linking parts onto the torso. Nothing crazy, nothing super complex or anything like that. But yeah, you end up with some really, really satisfying shaping. It's like these pieces were designed for this purpose. How unexpectedly lovely. So there is actually a hidden play feature within this toy, but I'm going to cover that in a hot minute. First, let's talk about the villain mini model. Which, okay, let's be honest, this should have a totally different name. It should be called Baby Crystal Beast, because it really does look like a mini version of that Crystal Beast set. Now yeah, I am a big fan of Crystal Beast's beautiful translucent blue color scheme. It's so nice to see the return of that on this little guy. So yeah, this is a similar story to Breeze's mech. It's a very simple construction, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's posable, it's cute, I like it. You also get a nice little jumper beast to go with the set. I don't know man, what more could you ask for? Especially because all of this came in a super cheap, super small little polybag set. I think it's good value for money. Provided you bought it back in 2014 when it was cheap, not for $147. So yeah, look, the set is great, but you might notice something, poking out at the bottom of the belly. It's very unfortunately placed and certainly looks a little, inappropriate. I don't really know what LEGO was thinking when they put this here, but you do get this socket attachment down the bottom. What's this for? Well, the idea is that you can buy Evo's XL machine, another 2014 Invasion from Below set, and if you take a closer look at the shoulder here, you'll notice this ball joint up top. You can place this grey socket piece into this ball joint, and you can have the beast riding on the shoulder of this mech. I mean, it does look cool, but it kind of makes no sense. Why would an enemy crystal monster be teaming up with Evo and riding on its shoulder? It's an odd choice, that's for sure, but you know, it's a play feature that you're supposed to do. So there you go. And that leads us back to Breeze's mech. The hidden play feature that I was talking about allows you to remove the cockpit, like so, and then, on the same ball joint that we saw before, you can place Breeze up top. She's just kind of chilling up there, but hey, you can do that. There you go. It's kind of fun. So yeah, that's two of the strangest Hero Factory sets. Hopefully you enjoyed taking a look at these, but let's study some of the pieces that come in these little guys. See how you can use them to build your own creations. The Villain Beast set comes with 4 of these trans light blue small limb pieces. I rather like what Socket Ball has done with these on this creation, stringing heaps of them together to make some kind of elemental arm. Perhaps it's some kind of uncontrollable power that's emanating from within the creature itself. It's a pretty good idea, and a great way to use this piece. I'm also rather fond of the lower jaw that comes on this set in black. Katsuki uses it right here on this mock. If we take a look at the legs, you'll notice 2 of them are embedded into the knees. They create a nice, sharp and pronounced knee design. It ties in flawlessly with the other parts of the armor. It's a pretty good fit. I really like how this looks. Breeze's mech includes some of these propeller or blade pieces. These parts have popped up before in Ninjago sets, but they do look pretty brilliant on Hero Factory and Bionicle characters. For example, why not follow in Kainsei 1's footsteps and use them for some kind of lance weapon? The 4 of them on the tip here does look pretty good. There's always something so impressive about really striking and in-your-face weapons like this one. And finally, That gunmetal shield with bar handle piece we were talking about before, how could you use this? Well, Black Pug Mox uses a few of them in many different ways. We got 2 on the torso. They make up this fantastic chest armor. I love the angle that they're resting at, just sensational. And then there's many more on the shoulders as well. They create this lovely bulky design. It's quite impressive. So yeah, there's a couple different ideas for how you could use these pieces. And we're done. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at some rather interesting Hero Factory sets, and some pretty dope mocks as well. Be sure to check the links below if you want to see even more from the builders that I highlighted today. But that's all for now, guys. Thank you for watching, happy building, and bye for now.